Hey YouTube, I hope you guys are safe and I hope you guys are well. As we find ourselves in the midst of this COVID-19 lockdown, I thought I'd take this opportunity to do something really positive and finally start my YouTube channel. So I'd like to welcome you to Film Direct. Film Direct is dedicated to helping you create professional film and video regardless of your level. In this very first episode, I'm going to take you inside Adobe Premiere and share with you two important techniques that all directors use when directing dialogue on set that lets them direct dialogue scenes like a pro. Right off the bat, it's worth mentioning that no two directors direct a dialogue scene in the same way. Whether you're a director like Stanley Kubrick, who famously reshot one scene in The Shining with Shelley Duvall 127 times. Shelley, it may have taken 127 takes, but boy was it worth it. This is a great movie. Dr. Sleep, I've got to say, it's a good movie. Or a director who takes a more minimalistic approach like Woody Allen, preferring to capture his dialogue scenes in long master shots.
I distinctly heard it. He muttered under his breath, Jew.
You're crazy.
No, I'm not. We were walking off the tennis court, and, you know, he was there and me and his wife, and he looked at her, and then they both looked at me, and under his breath he said, Jew.
Alvy, you're a total paranoid.
What, how am I a paranoid? I pick up on those kind of things. You know, I was having lunch with some guys from NBC, so I said, did you eat yet, or what? And Tom Christie said, no, Jew. Not did you. Jew eat? Jew? No, not did you eat, but Jew eat? Jew. You get it? Jew eat?
Max, you...
Stop calling me Max.
Why, Max? It's a good name for you. Max, you see conspiracies and everything.
There are certain tools which all directors will use, which lets them shoot their dialogue scenes realistically and like a pro. The best way for me to talk about these techniques and show you how I've applied them in my own work is take you inside Adobe Premiere and share with you how I approached a dialogue scene from a 30-minute drama called To the Edge, which I was lucky enough to direct just before lockdown. So here we are inside Adobe Premiere, and what I've created is a sequence for scene 2 from To the Edge, which I'm going to use to talk about how I worked with the actors and directed the dialogue for this particular scene. What we have here on the timeline on the left hand side is the assembly edit of the scene, and then what we have here on the right hand side is the physical edited scene itself, which is just over a minute long. It's about 1 minute 15 seconds. So the first thing that I want to talk about, and something which may not spring to mind immediately when you're directing a scene and working with actors on set, is the importance of shot logging and working with a script editor if you can. So I was lucky enough on this production to be working with Lucy, who was the script editor. So essentially at the end of each take, what I'd do, I'd turn to Lucy and we use the red, amber, green code. So what that would mean is, in essence, a red take would be a take where most of the take wasn't really working. Either, you know, we were having difficulty getting the shots, or the actors were just feeling the way, weren't quite hitting the marks. An amber take would be a take where there'd be elements of the take which worked really well. You know, one of the performances would have been good, but in essence, it wouldn't have been a take which in its entirety was there. And a green take would be a take where I was 100% happy with the dialogue, the actors' performances, and the way that we'd captured that particular camera angle. With that take in the bag, I then shoot another green take from that camera angle for safety. Where this becomes really important is if you look at here in the source monitor, it physically took us 32 takes to get this scene, which is essentially 1 minute 20 seconds long. So, you know, if you think about where you come into the edit, where it becomes really, you know, really useful and will help with your workflow, is that you can transfer this directly to the shots. So if you look down here in the media bin, you can physically see that the shots, or the takes rather, have been color coded with red, amber and green. When the entire project, which had 22 scenes, is passed over to the assembly editor when pre-production starts, we can then start to, you know, narrow down immediately. I can say, okay, don't look at takes 1 to 4, you know, nothing really worked in those takes, which is going to save a lot of time and improve your workflow. So let's move on to the scene itself. So to give you a little bit of background on the scene, the character here, Max, becomes involved with Pete and Nico, who are two drug dealer bad boys. It's the first time that the characters meet, and what I wanted to create in this scene was a rising air of tension, which wouldn't resolve in the scene, but which would continue to push the story forward to the next time that the characters meet later in the story. I've mentioned that, you know, all directors are going to approach scenes in different ways, but one technique that all directors will use is blocking. Now, what blocking is the physical position of the actors within the frame. One thing that I wanted to get from this scene was a feeling of claustrophobia for the Max character and also for the audience. And the way that I did that was to focus on the blocking. So here you can see in this shot, this kind of deep 3 shot, where we creatively use the mirror to frame, you know, the 2 gang members. There's a definite distance between the 3 characters. The way that I directed the scene, working with the 2 Mikes, both these actors are called Mike, was to direct them to close the space on Aidan, who played Max. So I'm just going to forward through the scene and hopefully you'll see what I mean. So I'll just turn the sound down because we'll look at the scene in a little while. As Max approaches the car, the door is used to stop him, also providing a cut on action point for the first 2 shot reverse shots which were used for the scene. Now right from this point, this is where the blocking starts to take effect. So both characters get out of the car and immediately they start to close the space in on Max. So the idea is kind of a pack of wolves, you know, closing in on their prey. So the next thing that I want to talk about is pacing. So essentially, from an improvised line of dialogue and a directed laugh by Mike's screen character Pete, I use this to draw out this moment of uneasy tension between the 3 characters, which, you know, hopefully you'll see when we view the scene. But the way that it was kind of brought out in the edit is that between the 3 characters, it's coming up now, the actors start to laugh. Mike starts to laugh. Aidan starts to laugh. So cutting back between the characters, this elongates this moment, and then the laugh becomes subverted and it becomes something else. So essentially, we have no doubt in our minds that these characters are up to no good and they've got nothing but bad intentions for the Max character. Now, I'm going to stop here because this was something that came out. It was a great piece of improvisation, a little stop. So the tension had been created using the improvised laugh, and then this great little piece of acting really accentuated that beat. And at this point, when you view the scene, look out for the way that we've used sound design to kind of ramp up the tension. So in essence, Max can't leave until he's allowed to leave. You know, Pete's in charge and they've got nothing but, you know, ill intention for Max. Straightening his tie, invading his personal space, and then Max makes his getaway.
Here it is, little Max.
Sorry, Pete.
You need to be more careful, lad.
How are we, kid? You alright? What's happening?
Still cracking on with that school.
When are you going to give all that up, lad? Come make some real dough with us.
Nah, Nico. This lad's got talent. Still in that band with our Kev, aren't you?
Yeah. Little band lad, yeah? Little mini John Lennon lad, yeah? Listen, I've got to go, yeah?
Right there. Off you go.
See you soon, lad, yeah?
Hey! If you ever want to make any real money, know where to find us, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, let's go.
So that's it for this video. I really hope I've been able to share some important directing tips with you, which you can use in your next productions as soon as we're out of lockdown. If you've liked the content, please consider clicking the like and subscribe buttons. And in the comments section below, I'd love to hear about your favourite directors, directing techniques, and favourite dialogue scenes of all time. So all that's left to say is stay indoors, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.